What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to be doing another Manchester City transfer video. We're going to be doing a transfer update. Before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. It is free. We've got plenty of City content to come for you guys to look forward to. Also, don't forget as well, social media links, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on there. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Also, don't forget to leave your thoughts, what you make of these transfers, in the comments below. And finally, do leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim. So we're going to start this video off with the out, and we've got a very interesting update when it comes to Kalvin Phillips. Now, Kalvin Phillips, according to Mark Douglas on Twitter, has said that he is assessing his game time ahead of the European Championships next summer in Germany. Now, Kalvin Phillips, he gets called up on a regular basis to the England team, and a lot of people put that under scrutiny because he isn't getting regular playing time for Manchester City. So if there's players out there who are playing on a regular basis for another team, people do argue that they should be given the opportunity over Kalvin Phillips, as he isn't getting that development that he needs. And every time there's an international tournament, players are always looking to be playing on a regular basis to make sure that they are in a position to be included in that squad to be playing in the big international tournaments like the European Championships next summer. So what Mark Douglas here is saying makes complete sense, and I understand why Kalvin Phillips would be assessing that situation, but he's in a very difficult situation because you need 2 seasons at Manchester City to allow yourself to be able to develop, to adapt to the new styles, etc, etc. It does take time. Now, Kalvin Phillips seems like he's down the pecking order at Manchester City, so much so that this summer Man City were happy for Kalvin Phillips to leave the club on loan to go and get regular playing time, which may have just been the best thing that Kalvin Phillips could have done. But he doesn't want to leave Manchester City because he doesn't want to be seen as a failure. He sees that if he just leaves Manchester City now, that he went to City, didn't make it, wasn't good enough, and left, and he firmly believes that he is good enough and he wants to stay, he wants to fight for his place, which I think everybody can respect. However, Kalvin Phillips has to do what is best for him and his development, and for football players, it's not just the case for young players, it's the case for professional football players as well. The only way you will develop is through playing regularly at a high level, and Kalvin Phillips is a very good player. He's a very good Premier League player. He walks into a lot of midfields. However, I do, from what I've seen of Kalvin Phillips so far, I do think there's a big gulfing difference between the level that Kalvin Phillips is at and the level that Manchester City are looking for. And Kalvin Phillips makes an excellent squad player for Manchester City. If we have any injuries to our midfield, Kalvin Phillips should be taking over from them in them roles. He hasn't been doing that. I don't really know why. I don't know if Pep Guardiola doesn't trust Kalvin Phillips, so to speak. He seems to be giving opportunities to other players, and he likes to manoeuvre the squad around players like Foden and Bernardo Silva. You see them end up dipping more into midfield rather than Kalvin Phillips being given his opportunity. And realistically, Kalvin Phillips was brought in when Man City were playing just one holding defensive midfielder, and that was Rodri, and he was never going to displace Rodri because Rodri's the best defensive midfielder in the world, who is like a machine, he's like a robot, keeps himself injury-free all the time, touch wood, and so it becomes very difficult for Kalvin Phillips to be able to get minutes, but there's been more minutes available elsewhere in midfield, and Pep Guardiola's just simply preferred other options. And I feel like Kalvin Phillips, probably for his own career, would have been better leaving Manchester City, but I can respect him staying and fighting for his place. This is going to be a very important 6 months or so here for Kalvin Phillips, because he needs to assess what's better, him fighting for his place at Manchester City and not necessarily getting into the first team squad and jeopardising his place for England at the European Championships, or is he better holding his pride, moving it to one side, going to another club, getting that regular playing time, and potentially being on that plane to Germany when it's announced next summer. So we'll have to wait and see. Mark Douglas does say that Everton and Newcastle, they're interested in Kalvin Phillips. Will he be able to get regular playing time at Newcastle? I'm not sure. They've got pretty good midfield. Everton, though, scrambling for relegation. I think that that would really suit Kalvin Phillips. He's a player that's already used to scrapping for relegation with Leeds United. He knows what it takes to dig deep, to grind things out. that would be a really good signing for Everton, and I presume that we'd be looking at a loan deal rather than a permanent transfer. If City were to sort something out in January, it would be a loan deal more than likely with some kind of option to buy to go from there. But if Kalvin Phillips does end up leaving Manchester City, in terms of depth, it leaves Man City really short, unless Manchester City are able to get Kevin De Bruyne back and confident that he's going to stay injury-free between his return and the end of the season. Then all of a sudden Man City have a little bit of manoeuvrability in their midfield that you could drop one or two of the players into a more deeper role to have that cover there if needed, because let's not forget that we brought in Mateo Kovacic this summer, Mateus Nunes as well. They can all play in a little bit of a deeper role if Man City need them to go and do that. And so the question has to be asked, where does Kalvin Phillips fit in to Manchester City? Will City bringing in Kovacic and Mateus Nunes? Further down the pecking order, Kalvin Phillips goes, so we'll see what happens with regards to that. Now, moving on to the ins, and this is an interesting one. Mark Douglas says that Manchester City are also keeping tabs on Brighton attacker Evan Ferguson, fresh from scoring a hat-trick last weekend for Brighton and Hove Albion. All of a sudden, plays a good game, lots of interest there, and a lot of the big clubs in the Premier League come sniffing around. I know Manchester United are interested in Evan Ferguson. Manchester City's name's also been put out there as well. Whilst he is a high-quality young player who I rate, I think Evan Ferguson's a good player. I do have to ask the question about what can he right now bring to Manchester City. I'm not saying that in 2 or 3 years' time he might be the real deal who could offer a lot to Manchester City, but right now you have to be honest, is he going to be able to displace Erling Haaland? The answer to that is no. Is he going to displace Julian Alvarez playing as a second striker or playing behind Erling Haaland? Again, no. Julian Alvarez has been there, done that, won every single competition out there. He's a World Cup winner. He's proven time and time again that he's a high-quality player. And so, to me, Man City would be much better in keeping hold of Julian Alvarez and keeping hold of Erling Haaland rather than going out there and bringing in Evan Ferguson as well. It may take, if we do want to sign Evan Ferguson, for one of the two players, Haaland or Alvarez, to leave Manchester City. My strong preference is for Alvarez to stay, for Erling Haaland to stay as well, because I think Man City, when it comes to attackers, are very much covered. But when there's high quality young players doing very well, Man City's name's always going to be put out there, whether that interest is genuine or not. If you are good enough, Man City will be interested, but there's a big hurdle, as we've been covering all over the summer. There's a big hurdle between Man City saying, that player's good, I'm interested in him, and Man City actually sitting down, holding a meeting and saying, let's talk numbers. Big difference between we're interested and we want to make a move. And right now, it is just interest. There'll be a lot of clubs interested in Evan Ferguson. If he continues doing well with Brighton, then that interest is going to grow and there will be a battle. I do have my doubts about Man City being that team to make a move whilst we've got Alvarez and Haaland here. My preference, keep hold of Haaland and Alvarez. Why? Because they're both world class. So there we go. That has been today's transfer update. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim. Subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. On that push to 32,000 subscribers, now less than 300 subs away. It's free to subscribe, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. We've got more Daily City content to come, including my final transfer show coming tomorrow for you guys. I'll have the link out to that later on today for you to set your reminders for tomorrow afternoon, and then we will have one more transfer update out on Saturday morning BST here in the UK for you guys to look forward to, and then that's me done and dusted. I'm going to have a few days off, I think, after that, just to regroup, ready to focus on the push for the season with plenty of City content for you guys to look forward to. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description below and slide across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. TikTok link also in the description if you want to go and follow me on there. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And I'll see you all again tomorrow for the transfer show with yours truly, JSGC. So I'll see you then. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.